Back like I never left.
Mm.
Back like we never left.
Mm-hmm.
What's going on?
Nothing. What's going on?
You all right?
Yep.
What's up?
Department of Justice executed conviction. Well, not a conviction, but they are charging the 3 men who brutally chased down Ahmaud Arbery, which I think is amazing, especially when I cannot understand how in the South someone calls the police and the police assist them. They get to their home and then uses a cordless phone, and the same officer that assisted them not 30 minutes before shoots them down in cold blood. So I know it's little steps, but at least we have some steps, I guess, right? Is that
it's not enough?
Is that the thought process?
It's not enough.
You know,
It's not enough.
I don't really like talking negative about people, but I am very disturbed by the fact that Envy has justified or defended the officer that killed the 16-year-old young lady last week. I have an issue with that because you are guilty until proven, you're innocent until proven guilty. And I don't care what the situation was. That young lady did not deserve to be shot down like an animal. And what I do know is that we all have kids. And I don't think that everyone out here is doing the correct thing. I don't. And I do recognize that officers may fear for their lives in some situations, but not when that 16-year-old woman, young lady, who had so much life to live, is actually the person who called. And it was all over an argument about cleaning a house because she was a foster kid, and the previous foster kids had come over to celebrate the caretaker's birthday, and it was all over that. And so I don't understand it, but who am I?
I wasn't sure what it was about.
Who am I?
I wasn't sure what it was about.
That's what it was about.
It's becoming way too this kind of happens on a regular, and it's coming too normal. You know what I'm saying? It's becoming way too normal. This is the Love and Business on Lock podcast with the franchise Jay Claxton and Dr. Cassandra Vaughn.
Yep, that's who I am.
Okay, all right. So we're gonna get jumping. We're gonna get into it. We do have our friends that we are about to bring in.
Friends and family.
Girl and Kendall.
I think she's my twin.
What's going on, family? How y'all feeling?
How y'all doing?
So y'all ghetto twins?
I think we're ghetto twins.
Hey,
okay.
twin, hey.
Okay, y'all twinning. Okay. All right, y'all twinning.
I think we're ghetto twins.
What's up, y'all? How y'all doing?
Hey, good. How y'all doing?
We're really good.
We good. We talking to you, so we amazing. I mean, how was your week?
I guess it was good. It's a good one because you gotta ask week to week on a week to week basis.
Yeah, you really do. You really do.
You gotta ask on a day-to-day basis. As a matter of fact.
I was getting ready to say that. But yeah, it's been good. How about y'all?
We good. I'm good. And I think this young lady is good. She looks good. She's good. I know I get on her nerves, but I mean, it's okay. It's okay. It's normal. She should be used to it at this point. Are you used to it?
So let's hop right in.
Are you used to it? Are you used to it?
Let's hop right in.
Are you used to it? I see you going through your notes, but are you used to it?
Let's hop right in. Let's talk about mental health.
You're not going to answer me?
Let's talk
You're
about.
You're not going to answer?
Let's talk about.
Are you not going to answer?
Oh my God, he's annoying. Let's talk about mental health and relationships.
Are you not going to answer?
Not right this second. I'm not.
Daryl said it looks familiar.
I said that looks familiar.
Yeah.
We're just in reverse. This is her doing it to me, poking the bear kind of a thing. Yeah.
Right. No, that's asking the question. You're not, like Jay said, you're not going to answer? That's a valid question.
Yeah, I just want to answer.
But then you can get in trouble either way, though. It's an either way trouble.
I mean, I kind of already know the answer to the question. I just want to hear her say it. For me.
I'm not doing that.
I just want to hear you say it.
I don't fall in the traps. I'm a little smarter than that.
Just say it. Say it with your chest, yo.
Let's talk about mental health and relationships.
Say it with your chest. I'm not playing. Let me stop.
You guys, for everyone who doesn't know, this is Daryl and Kendella Lee. We spoke with you guys last week. Incredible conversation. So much so we had to have a part 2. And actually I might say that this may be part 3 because I feel like we had a part 2 after the cameras were off, and so now this is part 3. We did. So with that said, let's jump right into it. Let's talk about mental health and relationships. And honestly, it wasn't necessarily a topic I wanted to talk about, but we just finished live with We Empower and Hustle and Soul magazine. And one of the questions that she asked was, how did we cope through COVID and relationships and mental health with our relationship? So I'm interested in knowing, how important is it for the other to secure their mate's mental health? Because of course it starts with us first. But how important, because it's you have to first secure your own, but how important is that? And you guys have been married for quite some time. Is it for the other to secure?
I think it's very important. First of all, like you said, I want to make sure we get that. You got to take care of you first and recognize that mental issues and challenges are real, especially in our Black community. As men and as a young man growing up without a father, I came up just thinking you just barrel through things. Like, you just make it, you know what I'm saying? Not realizing and recognizing until my wife actually started to point some things out that, I wasn't crushed by the things that happened to me from 12 years old, being out on my own, single parent father, all these other things. But I was cracked, though. I was very much cracked. And where you still press on and you still have thorns in the flesh, so to speak, but you press your way. And just through my wife, ministry, love, compassion, expertise even, pointed some things out to me, like, you need to, start looking into those areas for myself, looking back on things and the trauma of losing my mother and losing my father shortly behind that. And, my son's mother kind of abandoning us only through her drug addiction and things of that nature, where now I'm finding myself being a parent of, at that time, 2 girls and a young man who has autism. So to go back, I think it's very important that, especially through Corona, that us first recognize that it's something that we have to do individually. As I stated last time, two wholes make a whole, not two halves. And to secure her for me, I think the security is partly listening to what she's saying, not assuming what she's saying or what I'm hearing, and then not being just so quick to respond, but quicker to listen, digest, and then hear her fully out, not cut her off, right?
Amen.
Listen to her fully out and just take it from there and then move with those steps accordingly. Because my wife will tell me exactly what it is. She's not one of those people that's going to, you'll wake up one day, God forbid, and she's gone type of thing, if you get what I'm saying. She's going to let you know all the steps ahead and what's going on, how she feels, what's happening. And it's my job as I'm coming to know, coming to learn. Well, I don't have it mastered, but coming to know that I got to listen, absorb, respect, not try to dismiss what she's saying, not try to tell her, yeah, well, you strong and stuff like that, because she is incredibly strong. But she says to me, what she's really saying to me is, I need to be weak at times and you just comfort me.
Look at Cass.
Y'all sound like twins. Y'all sound like twins. I mean, they really sound like twins. She has said that to me, and especially recently, So they sound like twins. I get it, and
Gerald and I sound like twins.
No, I'm saying how you and Kendall said you're like twins. Y'all twinning. Mm-hmm. I'm saying that the things that you say, you just said that to me recently. You just said that to me recently. So it's because my thought process is you do barrel through. And I still want to comfort her. I don't, what I'm saying? Like that's the thing, but I still feel like we don't have a choice but to keep going. You know what I'm saying? Like, so I guess it's maybe a double-edged sword because we're not dying. We okay. We're gonna figure this out some kind of way. We are going to figure it out. So, but she said that to me. So I do. Mm-hmm. I understand and understand it. It sounds like a familiar thing, because she told me that really, really recent, really recent.
Yeah, mine as well. And I think that for me, I think drowning is not an option. We just got to get it done. We got to barrel through, like you said. We got to, we're going to not only survive, we have to thrive the situations that come upon us. And so I think that through my life, I'm unfortunately putting myself on her to think she should act and react the same way that I've had to live my life.
Right. Okay.
And you know what I'm saying? Mm-hmm. And I'm getting it because it's all like as we're sitting here, and I'm looking back over situations like you said, Jay. We just had conversations as well where she said things to me. Mm-hmm. Sometimes I'm not listening to hear. Mm-hmm. Sometimes I'm just standing there, but not really listening to hear with the quick, okay.
Right.
That's not good because when she tells me that I'm dismissing how she feels, I am dismissing how she feels unintentionally, but intentionally, if that makes sense. Right. Because it's about me listening, us growing together, us merging together. And if we're going to be the best that we can be, if we ordained to be together, like I foresee you two, then there's give and take on both sides. And I can't put my life of challenges and successes and struggles and people leaving and my mama this and my daddy wasn't that on her because that wasn't her life.
Right.
I think unknowingly that's at times what I've been doing by saying, yo, you strong, we can make it because I'm used to just, I'm used to battling through. I'm used to, we're going to make it happen. Drowning is not an option no matter what come. That's the way I've survived and thrived. And so I think I've been putting that on her unknowingly. That's not her life at all.
And I don't think that it's definitely not on purpose. And I think that whenever we solve the problem, we still got to barrel through anyway. I'm just saying that eventually we got to go through it. We got to go through the fire. It's how we go through the fire. It's it's how we go through the fire. And I'm telling you, we have had sounds like us in the last couple of days, the last week, all you know, this has been us. And a lot of times when she'll tell me something, I'm kind of quiet because I'm really trying to take it in. You know what I'm saying? I'm really trying to take it in and really process. And a lot of times I might not even have an answer right then and there. You know,
right then.
But it's not. It is, you know, and I tell her I'm not trying to dismiss you. I'm saying, okay, you know, now in the past, might have been to dismiss, but at this point, it's not to dismiss. I'm saying, okay, I hear you, and then she's like, hey, you gotta tell me that because when you just say okay, it feels like you're dismissing me, and I'm not trying to dismiss at all.
See, the thing about women. Okay, go ahead. We both wait to see.
No, go ahead. I'm sorry.
The thing about women is we already know we're strong. Duh, we were born strong. You know, we were born, you know, we are the mothers. Let's just keep it real. You know, we birthed y'all, you know, in a sense. So we are strong. We already know that. And Daryl and I we were having this conversation after we were watching something about the strong Black woman. We already know we're strong, but sometimes with that moniker, strong Black woman, it's like you can't be weak, or people don't expect you to just not want to be strong. Like I said on the last episode, not want to wear the cape all the time, to be able to feel comfortable and secure to let it go. But sometimes in our lives, when we do that, somebody might drop the ball. Someone might not take care of their part. Someone may not fill in those gaps for us. So we have to fill in those gaps, and we have to just be. You know, we don't even think about being strong or think about not making it through. We just do, no matter what. But sometimes if you're having a mate, they're supposed to assist you in that way where you don't feel like you're alone or doing it by yourself. They're supposed to meet you here. So if you're here and you just like, you know what, I can get here by myself, but you know what, I need somebody else to carry it over. You should be able to feel confident and secure in that, and not feel like, oh, I'm being weak, or feel like, oh, I have to do it all, you know, by myself. You should be able to just do it and just be. But sometimes it feels like we're in it by ourselves, and no matter what, like it seems like sometimes men have the opportunity to say, oh, I forgot, oh, I dropped the ball, or I can't. And a woman doesn't think like that. We're like, okay, let's make it work. Let's figure out how to do it. And we're not essentially dropping the balls. We're picking up the balls that y'all might leave behind or that y'all might drop. And so it puts extra strain on us when sometimes we want to fall back and let the man do it. So it's this thing about being submissive and not doing that. You got to be comfortable to be submissive. You got to be comfortable to be able to fall back and know that, you know, your man has you. And I think a lot of people, a lot of women out there are strong. A lot of women out there are single. A lot of women out there are married, because it's this whole thing with Black women that, oh, they're too strong. They've got an attitude. They're this. That, you know, you hear all of this stuff floating. And I like to stick up for them. It's like, maybe they haven't had anyone to comfort that part of them, or maybe they haven't had anyone to be a teammate to them, or maybe that they were vulnerable and let their hair down and they got hurt or stepped on, or maybe, you know, they're just having a bad day. You know, somebody might be walking down the street just having a bad day, but it's this thing. And even when my daughters were growing up, I'd be like, fix your face, because you're not gonna walk around here looking like the angry Black woman. You know, it's a thing. And sometimes you could just be thinking about what am I going to make for dinner? What am I going to do? And the perception is different for us. You know, you hear, and I'm look at social media, and then people saying certain things, you know, even the young boys. I heard this young boy, like, he was like on TikTok, he was like, what did he say? Oh, I don't like Black women because they're too strong. And then it was a stitch. So if you know what a stitch is on TikTok, it'll show a piece of a clip, then it'll show somebody else. So then it turned, and then he was with this white woman and saying that. So all the Black women, you know, were responding and speaking up like, nobody wants you anyway, or nobody this. And it just became a big old thing because there are certain black men we ain't checking for, but it should be there's certain black women somebody may not be checking for, but not say I'm not checking for this black woman and then go to a whole nother race, you know. And I'm not trying to disrespect anybody, but we don't do that a lot of times. We will, you know, keep giving the brother a chance, whether it's a brother with a different face. But sometimes you'll hear, and I'm just by the stuff that I'm hearing, not with Daryl, but just by the stuff I hear on social media and all that. And we have to find a way where we're supporting one another and both people in the relationship are getting fed equally. And when I say equally, I don't mean every single day it's going to be 50-50. It could be 60-40, but equally meaning that, you know, at some point you're going to get your turn to be fed. And then when you're feeding, then you know that you're going to get your turn. And sometimes a woman feels like everything is on her. Like, say for instance, if somebody, like if you said right now, let me think of something. We need $20 to put in a gas tank, right? And you might say, well, I don't have $20 to put in a gas tank, right? That wouldn't be an option for me. Like, I would try to find the $20 to put in a gas tank, where sometimes men can just say, I can't or I won't. Even when it comes to some people raising kids, they can say, well, I can't and I won't. And then the mother is trying to figure it out, or the person, the single parent, could be the father trying to figure it out. And I think sometimes a lot falls on us. And even if you have the strongest man by your side, it still feels like that sometimes.
So what I was gonna say, it's a great point. What I was gonna say is I want us to go back, all the way back to the beginning. And Daryl, you said something that really hit me, because for me, I'm in my mind, I'm thinking, because I always try to find out if we have an issue, I always try to figure out how to communicate better. If it doesn't, if at first I don't succeed, I try again to figure it out. And you said something, you shared something with us about, you know, it's not that we're not strong, but sometimes we need to be weak and protected by you guys. So because we need that, you know, and that really hit me, because I think that is who I am. Like, I'm strong for so many people all the time. And I know that I'm strong, and I carry a lot on my shoulders. But sometimes I need to, and it hit me because I said something that in a disagreement, I said something that offended Jay, but I didn't mean to offend him, because I said, who takes care of the caregiver? And I didn't mean to offend him as if he doesn't take care of me, but it's just that in those moments that I need to be weak, I don't feel comfortable being weak, because I feel like I'm being selfish, because he has so many other things. And I think it's translated as, well, you go find something to do that's going to make you feel good. And it's not necessarily that, because I do the things that I need to make me okay. But even though I do those things, there are still moments that I need him. And I just want to be able to lean on him. And I think that maybe, so I apologize to you, because I did not communicate it in that way. And I think Daryl hit it.
Well, you know, in full transparency, we had a conversation about it yesterday, right? We were driving, and where we went to was about 45 minutes, hour drive, right? And she actually apologized that particular, you know, at that time for a particular conversation that happened a few days prior. And what she said, like, hey, who takes care of the caretaker? And my response was, that's disrespectful, because I am here. I get it. Even if I'm not in the present at the time, the person you call is me. I hear it regardless. And I'm not complaining about it. I don't feel a certain kind of way. I don't feel like I need to speak to anybody. I just feel as though I'm supposed to be here, not for anything else, but we really friends. This is my friend. You know what I'm saying? So I'm supposed to be here for my friend, and I am here for my friend. So in the process, we said, I'm like, what are you talking about? I'm here. I catch it. I catch it. You don't have this conversation with nobody else but me, and that's okay. You know what I'm saying? That's fine as well. We okay. Like whatever it is, I'm gonna barrel through. I can. There's nothing really to talk about. I'm supposed to have her back when she's weak, and that's okay. And she gets on me a lot too, because she's like, yo, I'm trying to help you through all the stuff that you gotta do, and you just want to do it yourself. So I ain't trying to put no more pressure on her. She got a lot. My shoulders are broad. That's what I feel like. So I'm a handle, and I am not going to put that on her, and I'm not going to say she's not doing anything. I'm not going to do that. Like I'm just, I am wired to push through, and I am wired to do my best to help the best way I know how. Now I'm not perfect. There's been times where I've been a great help. There's been times that I might have fell short. I'm not what she's got to tell me as well. You know what I'm saying? So I mean,
I feel like I tell you.
No, I'm not saying that you don't. That wasn't what I was. I'm just we just talking, and it's good because this this is able to, because we really have just recently went through this. This is real. We've been transparent. So
let me tap on something real quick.
Tap it in. Tap.
Because Daryl kind of said something about about this. Well, not necessarily about this, but he kind of said something, and then something that I was listening to you as I was just listening to you. And our foundation is friendship, right? But and that's good. We really are friends. But I think in you saying it, as much as you were saying it, and you were saying it from the depths of your heart, I kind of got offended just now, because I don't always want my friend. I don't always want my business partner. Sometimes I need my man. And our friendship is our friendship. But the intimate part of you being my man, and I can cry and all of that, sometimes that is what I need. And so it has to be a combination of all of it. And
but
so
Cass, do you define that? Do you define that when you say, like, do you define that to him, like, my man, this is what I want from my man, this is my friend, so he can understand what that means when you say I want my man? You get what I'm saying?
So I will say I need my man. I will say that. But I won't define it between my friend and man. I'll say I'm not talking about business. I'm talking about us, And because in my mind, I'm thinking, which that's unfair because it's my mind, it's not his. And I'm working this out as I'm saying it to you, but in my mind, I'm thinking he knows that there's a difference. But maybe not. Because it's in my mind.
Yeah, well, I think maybe I use the wrong words, maybe. You know what I'm saying? Like, I didn't mean that. I just I do think the basis of our any relationship, or our relationship is the fact that we are friends. You know what I'm saying? Like, so that's why I said it. It wasn't like we just friends, or you know what I'm saying? Like I'm Bismarcky. That wasn't what I was trying to.
Oh no, I didn't get that. I didn't get that.
Yeah,
I didn't get that either. And so I was trying to figure out how he just got that. That's why I stopped and was like,
I wasn't saying
we didn't get that. We know that's your woman. We didn't get that at all.
Right, that's all.
Nobody got that but him. That's why I just turned around like, what just happened?
Blah, blah. That was business girl and just
blah, blah.
Blah blah. You know.
But let me say something too. But when you were talking about the keeper needs to get taken care of too, if men, we have a tendency not to say to our women that we need to be kept at this moment too. Because that would be like being transparent to say, I'm weak at this moment. So, you know, we have to trust. We have to trust our women enough in their response to when it is that if I say something like, if it's a lot going on that I'm processing, right? Like Jay said, I'm the same way. I hear you, I take it in, may take me a minute or two. You know, I may not have a response right at that moment. But I'm dealing with some things. I'm trying to organize whether it's business situations, family, bills, circumstances, whatever's going on. She'll say something to me about something. And I'll say, like today, and I'll say, can you hold that one right now? Because for me at the time, I was getting into a prayer and all of that because I needed to focus and be able to handle what's going on.
I'm sorry, I'm listening down.
So we need to be able to, men need to be able to trust their women that we can tell you and show you, hey, I'm weak right now, or stuff is heavy on me right now, and we not get negative feedback from trust residues from past issues or past people that, hey, I can tell you that, you know, I'm dealing with some stuff, or how about this one? I don't know the answer. I don't know the answer, and at least you be okay at that moment until we figure it out. I bring it to you. We digest it together, and then we come up with the solution.
But in that case, then it's up to the woman to respectfully, you know, say, okay, I'm going to fall back. Like the woman has to know too when to fall back. If he can trust us with that type of thing, then we have to say, okay, you know what? He communicated, and that's really the thing. You know, with all relationships, even when I'm coaching couples, or even in my own, it's about communication and how you communicate, and because it has to be right, and you have to have the same type of communication. See, people think communication is just communication, but the biggest part of communication is listening and really understand and repeating it back. Like, what do you need? Instead of maybe getting an attitude or stomping off for the man or the woman, you know, is to really say, okay, if you trust me with this information, then I need to respect it and honor it. And then as communicators, you should say, okay, I understand that this isn't a good time to come to you with this. When do you think? Maybe in an hour, or should we talk about this in 2 hours? Because you still want to know, and you still want to have that conversation and not let it just dissipate in the air, because then tomorrow it might be that same subject or issue. Or you
can't conquer what you don't confront.
Right.
I like that.
I really believe that it is being sensitive to the time of when you approach us as men. Like being sensitive. Well, or do we have 3 days of arguments? Do we need a 4th day? You know, can we table this so that we can create a good day to weed out the, because if you have consistent bad days of negative arguing, you know, and then you try to present something and say, well, we didn't finish this from last night, so can we bring this up? You know that's not going to work depending on the timing and the atmosphere. You got to be sensitive to the atmosphere of our relationship in and when we should or should not discuss something. Or today, let's just have a fun day. Forget about that. Table it. Do something to take the pressure off and get into the intimacy, like you were talking about, of our relationship. And develop and grow that way.
But the problem still has to be addressed, but you got to find a way to do that. Like, you have to learn what your styles are in the relationship. Because like for Daryl's style is, he has to, like Jay said, he has to process, he has to think about it at certain times. You can ask, because maybe this, with me, you can ask me anything at any time. and I'll be ready to talk about it or discuss it, and I'll be ready to put a button on it, and let's move on to the next when this is, fully talked about. With Daryl, he has to process it differently, and he has to wait, or he's big on timing. Like, this is not the right time to bring this up. Let's talk about this then. Let's talk about, and with me, it's like, you can ask me anything, like I said, at any time. So you have to figure out what language your mate is speaking and able to, because then you will eliminate a lot of issues or problems. It's just trying to understand, okay, when is this? So I know maybe if you're, with anybody's relationship listening, if they're a morning person, then don't bring nothing at night. Important. But if they're a night person, don't be coming in with 5 o'clock in the morning with some stuff, because they're not going to hear, what you're saying. And me and Kaz know about that, because we was handling business at 2:30 in the morning.
Yeah, 2:30 in the morning.
No, while me and Jay was asleep.
That y'all was asleep.
And you know what? We really, because I know she has something she wants to say. We get a lot of stuff accomplished in the car. We do get a lot of stuff accomplished in the car, and she will package it the right way. And a lot of times she understands in the car. Sometimes I just want to listen to my podcast, because driving is therapeutic for me. If I got a nice car, it's a nice day, it's therapeutic. I don't need even music on. But that's where you get. We had a really important conversation yesterday, and it wasn't much. She really was leading the conversation, but we had a great conversation in the car. The car seems to work for us. You know what I mean? It really does. But go ahead. You got the
So I was going to say that I feel like in our growth, that's what we've learned, how and when to talk to each other, and I think that I do honestly believe that is something that we have mastered, because he knows how to, like certain things. If he says, all right, relax. All right, Cassandra's quiet. Okay, Cassandra's quiet.
I mean, that happened yesterday.
Right.
Like, I swear, we broke diet. We broke diet. We went to go see some friends. We had cigars. We had some plush vodka. It was good, right?
Look at Cat.
Right?
What?
You know what I'm saying? We had some plush vodka. It was good. Well, now we're driving and we are starving and nothing's open. What do you think is open?
7-Eleven.
McDonald's.
Oh, McDonald's. I was going to say 7-Eleven.
So we go to McDonald's. We go in the drive-thru. We order food. She order her food. I order my food. Neither of us want this. We don't want it, but we starving. And they forgot to order fries, right?
Oh,
That's the best part.
Right. So she said that your fries ain't there, missing the fries. And I'm like, hey man, we missing the fries. Well, we ain't order. You ain't order. Yes, I did. I ordered fries, and at $16, I should have some fries.
It was 18.
Right. I'm like, yo, we should have some fries. You know what I'm saying? Like, I ain't even bitching about the price. I'm just saying I just had some fries. Then the manager come over, look at the receipt. Well, he didn't ring you up for the fries. I said a meal for both of these, right? And I'm like, when they go to get the fries, she gives us the fries. Well, I don't want the fries. Give them back. What do you mean give them back? Like,
she hadn't given it to us.
In the process, right? Because no, they don't give it. It's my fries. And look, be quiet. Please.
You said relax.
Relax. I got it.
Be quiet. We would have started fighting on that highway.
Relax. I got it. I'll eat the fries. Relax. We just made a big deal about these fries.
Right.
I fought for these fries. Relax. I got it.
So I was saying that I think that in our communication,
fries, anime.
In our communication, we figured it out. Shadana, and if I'm not pronouncing your name,
that's my girlfriend.
I apologize, but I do. I think that it depends on how the woman was raised, and I'm gonna say this: it doesn't matter about age or anything. I know I can only speak on one relationship, and that's the one that I have with Jay. For us, I know when I need to back down and allow him to be a man, and I know when I can push, and that's just what it is, and my beliefs are very biblical as how our relationship is ran. So I will, as strong as I am in business, in our relationship, I go like this. Hey.
But I think to answer her question too, I think so. I think you can do it without an attitude for sure. I think you can definitely do it without an attitude for sure. Like I don't like to go to bed with anything left in me. You get what I'm saying? I don't want to go to bed with stuff in me, or if there was an issue. I like to go to bed free because I don't want to be up all night thinking about it and then rev up for the morning. Like I want to be able to release whatever it is and have that conversation and wake up with a new start. And I think sometimes people don't, because the situation or whatever may not have been resolved. So then they do with an attitude. But I definitely think you don't have to, have an attitude, and you can do it definitely without the attitude. It's really about how you communicate, and what that person wants, because I might want something different from you. Jay might want something different from you, but you have to. A older man told me, he was married 60 something years or 70 something years, an old client of mine. And he said the secret and the key was learning your woman. And he said once you learn your woman, he said everything is easy after that. And he was saying, of course, she gets to learn me, but he said that was the key for their longevity. And that's learning your woman, like Kaz was talking about, when she's weak, how you know how to step up to be strong, or when you need a moment when I can say, okay, it's like you're learning your woman, but at the same time, you're learning your man. But I love the way that he said learning your woman, because as the head of the household, he was taking on that himself, and it didn't mean that she didn't have to learn him too. You know what I mean? But it's really about how you communicate. And I'm going to keep saying that because it's so important, and not just to communicate and just talking and waiting for somebody else to talk, because that's how most people communicate. Like that, it's almost like double dutch. They just like this. For all my people who play double dutch, you waiting to jump in instead of hearing, and then the person has to repeat it again because you weren't even actively listening. You were just present, like right, because you could be thinking about, let me think about this, let me think about that, and not in tune, tune it out or something. So it's important to really understand and hear what the person is saying, and make sure you get it right, and not process it in your head and it comes out the way you think.
Right. I mean, she actually really told me that, like, I need you to respond to answer instead of responding.
Listen to
something like that.
Don't listen to respond.
Right.
Listen to,
like I was saying last week.
Right. Because I was used to listening to respond, especially if it felt like it was an attack.
That's double dutch.
You know what I'm saying? I'm ready.
But the thing is that you have to hear the entire.
I have did my best to be.
No, you're way better.
You're right. That's what I'm saying. I did my best to be more cognizant of it. You know what I'm saying? Sometimes if we really passionate about it, I may, and vice versa. She may, I'm talking, and she may, I'm like, look, and she like, look, we can't. I'll really. What helped us was this one statement. We both cannot talk at the same time.
Yeah.
That was a big statement. You know what I'm saying? Yeah. Like, that was a big statement.
Nobody's going to be heard.
Right. And like, because we are doing it, and we both are pushing, we both strong. Like, all right, somebody got to shut up for a second and listen.
So I have another question. Well, I have two questions I want to ask, but I think because I can't believe it's 8:44, we are almost at the end. That I want this. I want to ask this question. So we talk about life hacks, and how we can hack through life and do things, or answers to questions that we may not know, right? So my question to both of you guys, right? But listen specifically how I asked the question. What are some couple longevity hacks that you can share with us. However, Kendella, I need you to share hacks that men should know about women. And Daryl, what are some hacks that women should know about men?
First, I'm mad that you put an A at the end of my name.
Because you've been doing it too.
No.
That's fair. That's how family do.
No, I'm okay. We good. We passed it.
Jay talk about you was doing that all night.
We passed it.
You know I love you, twin. You already know.
We passed it. All right, so let's get back to the hacks. Let's get back to the hacks. All right, go ahead.
I asked the question.
Okay. All right, y'all go ahead and get the hacking and get me out of this.
You said the hacks. What can Daryl say as a woman? I want to make sure I hear, because you said pay attention. So I want to make sure we answer exactly what you want.
So in other words, you will be sharing
life hacks for a man.
For a
man, what he should be doing to make his relationship a little easier. There's a couple of pointers.
Okay. You want to go first?
And
okay.
then Daryl, a couple of pointers to the ladies.
Okay. So to the men, and I love this because when I go speak at men's conferences, the last part of it we do Q&A, and you know all the men want to ask me about all the women, and of course the first thing I say that all women are different, but what women do have in common, they want to be heard and not listened to, because you can listen to it and it'll be like Charlie Brown's teacher, but you want to be heard. You want to be considered, right? And men have to understand that. And also women want consistency from men. Now you can ask any woman and they're going to, because that's where the stability comes in, the consistency. So I would say that women want that. And of course you want to be understood. You want to be loved. You want to be valued. You want to be appreciated. All of those things are so important. And also for the men, it's how you speak to your woman and the words that you choose to use that will make a woman feel all of those things, and how you show up using love as an action word, because there's a lot that can be said without saying it. And men, last I want to say is women are not complicated at all. Even if you have the most complicated woman up here, look at Jay laughing because some men think that, right? but it's just the simple things that you have to pay attention to. And I'm gonna go back to that guy. Learn your woman. If you learn who you have, then I think you'll be able to, I don't want to say get along better, but understand her better. So that's what in the short version, that's what I would say to men.
So I would say along those lines, in life, study the thing you want to become, right? So I need to study my wife on a consistent basis. I need to learn her. I need to listen to her. I think for men, we want to know that we can trust you with our weakness. And you still see us as strong, the same guy with the superhero cape on, but we need to be able to trust you with our weaknesses. And we need it not to come back up in our face when and if we get into a argument, right?
Yeah.
The other would be that we need women to, and I know, and let me preface this, I know, and I can speak for myself, that we, and I stand proxy for most men, have hurt you, have damaged you, have dimmed your dream of the white picket fence. Because we weren't ready for you, and we just used you sexually or otherwise. We damaged you in a lot of ways. Whether it started with a father figure and then you met us, what have you. Let's just preface that. then what I would say is that in that, we want you to submit. Now, in the submitting, we know, like my wife said, you need consistency. You need to see the consistency before you submit. Mm-hmm. Because in times past, possibly you've submitted. Mm. And you got hurt by submitting to the wrong person. Mm. And when you submitted and you kept submitting and you kept submitting, you were broken. And as I used earlier about myself, you were broke. You were cracked. Mm-hmm. Right? That's a part of residue. Yeah. But if we took time to get single first, mm-hmm. if you take time to get single first, then you would be clean enough in your spirit man, your mental man, and your physical man that when you met the one God chose or chooses for you, mm-hmm. you will be able to see them clearly. Mm-hmm. And when we continue to demonstrate, as you said, being consistent, it would be much easier in time for you to submit to that person's quote unquote authority. And what happens is, I think women a lot of times have been the head of their household, because we grew up in a lot of single mother households, that you are the priest now of your household. And because now you're the priest of your household, you got the cars, you got, you got the degrees now, you got all the stuff. What we in some cases are looking at, where do we fit in? Mm-hmm. Where do we fit in this new dynamic of, what quote unquote the family or relationship? But I like to stay with the biblical principles, because then you have a clear legal, spiritual documentation of how it's supposed to be if you are a believer. And you can build off that foundation moving forward. So that's what I would say in regards to women. And again, trust, which I know doesn't come easy, mm-hmm. because what we've done, because right. the women that we've hurt, let's be real. We've hurt some people that were not ready. Mm-hmm. Right. So now that the women is quote unquote in a different power position, now when they turn the tables and now they become players, quote unquote, mm-hmm. right? And now they're cheating, but you got to remember there's consequences to every action. Yeah. Right. And there's reaction to those actions. Yeah. Right. So
and women need to fall back too and not nitpick things also. And and there's some men out there that nitpick. You got to really when you allow somebody to be truly who they are, then the other person, the man or the woman, is supposed to come in and water that and see that and allow that to flourish. Like the man is not mm-hmm. supposed to come in and change the woman is not supposed to come and change the man. It's about growing together, and how can your experiences and your knowledge help me, mm-hmm. and then how can my experiences and my knowledge help you? And when men and women both men and women is to really understand that if you're in a relationship, married, engaged, wherever, mm-hmm. you're on the same team, and both people have to feel like they're part of the same team.
That's good.
And I think sometimes they don't. They feel like they're on separate teams, and that's why they're always like this. Mm-hmm. But when you realize and discover that you're on the same team, then you need to see what your teammate makes so you can win. Like if you're, and I'm going to say this real quick, Jay. So like I ran track in high school, right? I got medals, awards, doing all of that stuff in high school. And some may say track is a solo sport, but when you're on a relay team, it depends on you to get to the finish line. So if I start first, I'm not going to be the one to actually get to the finish line. The last person in the relay leg is going to get to the finish line. But my part does matter. And I have to help pass the baton here. And then they have to pass the baton here. And we all have the common goal, and that's the finish line. And if we really look at relationships like that, like, okay, I might not be the one touching the ribbon at the end, but I still have to assist you in doing that, because we are a teammate. So when you win, I win, and when I win, you win.
Second and third runner on that relay is just as important as the first and the last.
Exactly.
Right. Well, both people are super important, and I wanted to actually read Shadana's comment. She said, women a lot of times need to realize we're not always right. And when we are, it's okay to shut up and let our men realize they're wrong and make it right. I think I think that kind of goes both ways. And it goes both ways where I cannot win every battle, right? And I can't win every battle. And sometimes I don't want to, sometimes I just got to let her go. Like, you know what? I'm putting my hands up. You right. Handle your handle. Do what you need to do. I can't fight every battle, and neither can she. You know what I'm saying? We cannot fight every battle. And the one hack I wanted to say before we go, because we're running out of time, is ladies, do not be afraid to take your man to dinner. It's so simple. You see what I'm saying? Like, it's so simple. And as much as I want to handle everything. Like, it'll even be to the point I go to the bathroom, she'll take the check and pay it before I come back from the bathroom. I'm like, I'm going to pay. She's already paid. You know what I mean?
I just took Daryl to lunch yesterday. I just took him.
And it goes so long. It's a damn. Thank you. You know what I'm saying? It goes a long way. You know what I'm saying? It goes a long way. You know what I mean? So
that was good. That was good food. That was good food.
Like it does. It just goes a long way because real men feel like they need to take care of everything. You know,
But Shadana's comment just startled. Do women really see? I don't see that with Shadana's comment. She said women are not always right. I don't. Do you think you always right? I don't think I'm always right.
No, I don't.
But there's a lot of women.
I don't. Not only do I not always. Not only do I not think I'm always right, but I have no issue with saying I'm wrong.
Yes, me neither.
Well, we both do that. I feel like I do tell her I'm wrong way more than she tell me she wrong. But we do have that. We don't have any issue with saying that each other.
But he tells me more because he's wrong more than I am.
I mean, look, I'm wrong. I apologize. I'm wrong.
So I want to ask another question, but I also want to play a game. So I'm like going back and forward because I know that.
Do both.
Okay, so I'll do both. I'll do both.
All right, let's make it quick.
Okay, I'll do both. So what I was gonna ask was, you guys have been married for years. What's the importance in spending uninterrupted time together?
You want to take that?
I think you should take that one because
I'm gonna take it.
I can take it.
Yeah, because well, we have a difference of what is quality time. To me, quality time is the going out and all that, but to me, quality time is us just going somewhere in the car, us just being in the house, watching a movie. But we have a difference in what we consider quality time and intimate time or that type of time.
Well, I guess not quality time because the quality you could be anywhere.
Anywhere, true.
You could be anywhere. True. But spending time together is not me watching you sleep. That ain't quality time. And we had this conversation. Like, it's so funny, but I guess the quality time is the same as really spending time. I think we got the same definition in that. Or no, do you?
No, I'm let you go ahead.
Oh, okay. No.
You tell us what we got. I want to make sure.
No. Oh, but no.
I'm trying to listen now.
Because we had the conversation. Like, to me, just because you don't want to stay in the house 7 days a week, 24/7, and then say it's quality time. You want to get out. You want to spend some time. You don't want to do, and then it's about, but I'm trying to think how I want to say this. You want to spend time together, and no matter what you do, that time spent together is important. It's critical to your relationship and your foundation and growing in your relationship. So you have to make time for one another, and you have to be able to see if that other person needs more of your time, or if that person communicates that they need more of your time. You have to hear and understand. I work all the time doing stuff. So Daryl will say, Daryl's very patient when it comes to all the stuff that I got going on. He's he always calls himself steady, but he's very patient. He's not like naggy. I need the time, but then I can tell because he'll joke or say something, or what Daryl will do is maybe say something the next day. If you need it, because if you're in the room watching television and you're watching something and you seem content. You in there laughing or you in there talking. So I'm like, okay, then I'm gonna work some more because he's in there enjoying the moment, you know. But then the next day he might say like, I wanted you, you know, blah 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 blah, and I'm like, well, just let me know
what it is.
And that's the communication.
What it is I'm a workaholic. She's a workaholic, right? But like going back to what Jay said, one of us has to yield.
Yeah.
If to the other, because we'll both be running and we'll be running apart.
Yeah.
So I may be the one that says, since some things are already somewhat established, I may be the one that takes the back seat. Mm-hmm. And I love her to be all she wants to be in that supporting her. That means let her go be, let her go flourish, let her go do all of that so that, you know, she can be fulfilled. Mm-hmm. And I get fulfillment because she's fulfilled in what she's doing. And there are a lot of things that we have together.
Right, you're the cheerleader. You're the cheerleader. You got the pom-poms out.
Yeah, you know what I mean? Right. So, you know, I don't want to interrupt, and I'm good. But here's the thing about in any of this, we got to both reciprocate that back when it's on the opposite foot. Yeah. So if I'm out running and ripping, she may not have anything scheduled, and she's like, baby, where you going? I'm like, well, I got a meeting. I got to go there. And she's like, well, you know what I'm saying? It's like,
so this weekend it was a nice compromise because then also when I started seeing, I was like, okay, well, let me at least go in the room. So I remember I started doing that. I think like last year, well, let me at least go in the room, or let me, opposed to going to bed late, let me check in. So I will go in just to see. But
and that meant a lot. That meant a lot because there were times when you got so into it, you know, and I didn't stand in the way of it. Yeah. That I did. At times you begin to feel like, okay, so when I go do my thing, I don't want to hear it. Yeah. Like, don't tell me nothing if I'm doing my thing and now you all got time for me. That's fair. So I think when she was checking in, that was, hey, I see you. Hey, I recognize you. Hey, I know that you're here. Thank you for your support.
Yeah. And this weekend, like, and this weekend, it ended up I could not believe it because like Daryl, he gets like he's the type like the old man. Well, he don't sit still, but he's like the old man. You know how the old man wake up 6 a.m, they take a shower, you put their clothes on, even if they're not leaving for like 3 or 4 hours. Right. That's him. But with me, I'm just going to bed. Like I said, me and Kaz was handling business 2:30 in the morning. So I'm going to bed later. So I have stuff scheduled. Maybe I'll get up at 10 opposed to 6. So, and then sometimes like on Mondays is my self-care day where I try not to book anything. If I don't want to get dressed, I don't, you know, it's a time to get back to me, whether I'm doing my nails, foot massage, watching TV, doing anything. So this Monday, I could not believe it. Daryl, you did this on your own for 2 Mondays in a row. And this is something for him. He laid in the bed with me and we were just, you know, talking and watching TV and watching, you know, stuff on the iPad. And I could not believe it. And I said, you know what? I'm so proud of you because it you know, he's itching to get up and take a shower. And even if he got to go for a walk, or he moves like this. He always got to do something.
Like, right. This is if I'm not on top, if I'm not early, I'm late. And if you're late, you're not on time. You know what I'm saying? So that's but I was hearing her in the course of the ongoing weeks and days, and I was like, sit still, don't put nothing on the schedule. Do it on Monday when she does it on Monday so we can be together.
I couldn't believe
and just, you know, and just
because he was like, I gotta admit, that did feel good. He said it did feel good. So I think it's important for both people to have quality time to answer your question and to make that time and see when the other person needs your time, because a lot of things are said without being said, and they'll show in your actions and your body language how you respond to certain things. So each person, whether it's the man or woman, has to really take that time and say, you know what? Let me put this down. It could be put down for an hour or 2 or 3. Let me focus in on my partner. And that's the important thing, because at the end of the day, if you have all of the stuff and your partner goes, then it's not. So you have to find a happy balance to be able to do your business. And this goes for the men and women, and spend time. So if your person says straight out, hey, I need more of your time, then that's what you should give. It shouldn't even be a conversation. You should just do it. You know, for the betterment of your team. Because if your husband is happy, or your boyfriend is happy, fiance is happy, and your girlfriend or wife or fiance is happy, then you're happier in the relationship together. So when the times come where you have to be apart, where you have to go work here or go do this, you're fulfilled, and you can sustain yourself based on the week before. And then both people can handle their business separately and together.
Gotcha. Where you at?
Okay, so it is 9:04, and I always like to end this show like on the 15-minute point. So you have a question for a game?
No. I mean, my normal question.
Well, no, I'm asking because if you don't have a question, then I have two. If you have a question, I have.
I know. I mean, I have my normal questions.
Okay,
my
you have a question.
Are easy.
You have a question. Okay, so turn and look at each other. Oh, I need to open up the question. Okay.
He said we can stay like this.
Which one of us you want to answer first when I ask?
I don't know.
Okay, so Jay's gonna answer first. Men first. I don't know. I just made that up. So when was the exact moment you fell in love with me?
When I fell in love with you, because you know me and you.
No, not you. Not you. I'm asking. That's the question, but I'm asking Jay. Not when did you know, but when was the exact moment you fell in love with?
That's tough, because I don't necessarily have an exact moment. It was compound interest. It was.
Oh wow.
You know what I'm saying? It was not. It's like it's just like, you know, I kind of talk about every day. It's just a little bit at a time. We keep getting better. Mm-hmm. I don't think it was one specific moment. It's a body of work for me. It wasn't like this particular day you did this one thing and I was like, you know what? I love you. It wasn't that. It was watching you and seeing, you know, that you really did care and you really did give a damn about how I moved, and you really did care about my well-being. You really cared about my kids, and you cared about my career, and we have a great time, and you know what I'm saying? You did have my back. You had no problem with, you know, paying for dinner or whatever the case may be. It was those things. So it wasn't a specific moment where I'm like, shit, the light bulb, like it wasn't that. You know what I'm saying? It was compound interest. It was a compound of things from day to day. So I hope that I answered your question and you got your answer.
No, if that's your answer.
No, but that is real.
If that's your answer,
it was really.
You answered the question. I mean,
no, it really was this. It really was this. You know.
So for me, so that we won't go over again. So for me, I actually have a moment.
Of course you do.
I do. I really do. My moment was April 8th, 2018.
Oh, dang.
Jay was on stage, and he was performing for Light City, and we had prepared for it like for maybe a month. And when I saw everything that I had, like there were little things in the audience that I did that he had no clue was going to happen. But because I cared that much and I wanted this to be bigger than life for him, I had little surprises. Like we had people on, he didn't know that there were going to be people on stilts with lights on them because it was Light City, dancing to him mixing. And so it was like when he at the end of it, when he finished, he turned around and took a picture with the crowd behind him. But right when he walked away from the crowd, he walked over towards, and it was me and someone he used to do business with, a guy was standing. And I thought Jay was just going to come over and say hi to, you know, say thank you to both of us. But when he walked over, he didn't walk. I noticed as he got closer, he wasn't walking over towards the guy. He was walking more towards me. And when he gave me a hug, I was like, you know what? I really do love him. And I just carried that feeling on for years and years and years. So that was
you got the date. Like you want to make us look bad. We ain't got no date.
No, listen, it was me who performed. I don't remember that date. You know what I'm saying? Like, but I'm bad with dates anyway. I'm terrible.
But for me, that was a special date.
No, I get it.
That was a special date.
Love and Business on Lock. It's on Facebook. My TikTok people said, well, what podcast is this? They want to come support you.
Mm-hmm.
All right.
Tell them thank you.
I don't have, yes, they said thank you. Love and Business on Lock. It's on Facebook and YouTube. Make sure you follow my people. Make sure you watch. Family. Oh, that's for sure. They're like, oh, this is good. We want to watch it because I'm quick. I'm on live TikTok, and it's not a They of course they can just hear the show, so they want to see it. So they're gonna drive over. All right, you want to start because I don't have a date. Cass had to show us up with the date and time.
I'm sorry.
I didn't have a date. Like I told her, it was compound interest for me.
First of all, let's let it be known she ghosted me. That's first, right? Then after that, let me tell you something. The prayer of the righteous availeth much. She ghosted me. She ghosted me. And I had on a crazy outfit when we met. I was a little lit. I was a little lit up, right? I was a little lit up. I call it the anointing. She called it something else. She ghosted me for 3 days. Was it 3 days? 3 days. I called my boy. I'm like, man, listen, man, I met this incredible woman, right? Did an interview on your show. She ghosted me for 3 days. And I said, no, we ain't having
that's when we were talking for all the
Yeah,
time.
we were talking, all night long into the day, till we both had to leave the phone, fall asleep on the phone. Then you ghost me for 3 days.
Because I was like, well, he could, we could do a show, but I'm not.
Whatever.
That's what I said.
I was upset. So I immediately assumed the position of power in prayer. 3 days I fasted and prayed for this one.
Right.
And immediately, I don't know what happened. Well, I do know what happened. I know who happened. Immediately, her whole disposition 360 out of nowhere. And you can pick it up from there.
Yeah, so it's the story. We talked about this on the podcast, how we met, allowing God to choose your mate. We did like this 3-part series, probably I think 3 years ago. But I
was too hood.
Okay.
I was too roughneck, you thought.
Let me give you the quick version. So the real quick version, because I know y'all pressed for time, but this is just a funny story. So how we met, and we're going to talk about this because that was one of the questions they asked for Dr. Sean, and it's funny, but how we met real quick. Someone set us up on a blind date and didn't, you want to see, because you got to say that part.
I had a contract. I was working as a teacher with a contract. I had a person working next door to me. I just got a real strong emotional feeling to go next door and ask this person, does she know anybody for me?
Which is out of your
character. Which is way out of my character. I did it. It was as though she was already prepared with the individual. She gets on a computer. She turns the computer around. She shows me her face. Once she shows me her face, I said, I don't want to know anything else about her. That's it. And you want to take it from there?
The funny thing is, I never met the woman a day in my life. I never met the woman. Wow. That is nothing but God. Now, I've done business with her over the phone, and I've seen a picture of her. I've never even had a FaceTime call with her, a Skype, old school Skype, Zoom, nothing.
And she didn't go through multiple women when she showed me. I came in the office and she said, I got the right person. Turn around, hit the bed, pulled her face up. That was it. She didn't go through multiple people at all. Bam, that was it. I didn't want to know nothing. All I saw was from here up.
So when she sent me the picture, I was like, he looked in the picture, he looked like a baby. Yeah, he was all flashy and all this. And I was like, who is that? I said, whose baby is that? I was like, no, I ain't interested. And she sent the picture. I was like, no. I said, he's not my speed. I said, but I appreciate it. But we talked, and then we talked on the phone. Yeah, she was like, and then I was like, well, what the heck? I'll call. He wants you to call. I was like, okay, fine, I'll call. So I called, and he was about to go in to teach, and I was working. And he said, I'll call you back at 4. So he called me back at 4 and we were talking. And then that 4 o'clock ended up being all day and all night. And I had a date that night. I had a date that night.
That was funny too.
I had a date that night.
And she took me with her.
And I took him with him because I had a date. I met this guy online and we were getting ready to go out on a date. And we had planned this date like 2 weeks before I even met him. So I was like, and then that was the day I met him, the day I had a date. And I met him on the phone, not even physically. I met him on the phone and we connected on the phone and we were talking all day. That was that same day. You talked at 4. I think my date was at like 7. And I was on the phone with him through the park and got out the car, walked to the place, and went to Mater D and everything while I'm still on the phone. Then I'm like, okay, I think he's right there. I'll call you back. To the point that I was so engulfed in the conversation, I didn't even know where I parked when I came out.
Did you eat?
Yeah, ate. Yeah, ate.
Okay, so I owe him some money.
He said I owed him some money. So we had the date, and then I was barely out the door, and I called him back, and we talked, and I couldn't find my car. So fast forward 2 days, it was time. So by that time, we were talking all day and all night, falling asleep, like literally 8 hours. We were talking 6 hours, 7 hours. And when I finally went to go meet him in person, I was in my car and I saw him walking down the street. You couldn't miss him. He was loud. He had on his big chain. He had on these bright blue shoes. He had on gold pants. So everybody always knows about our story. He had on blue Jordans, but gold pants. And he had on this shirt. And then that's when he was wearing like a little high top. Everything was all crispy and Beijing-like. And I was like, oh no, that ain't my speed. I hope that's not him. So you know what I did, girl? I called and I saw the brother walking across the street, pick up the phone. I was like, that's him. And he was walking his cross around his neck was hanging. I was like, no. And I was like, because I'm not like a mean type person. I was like, okay, let me go in and meet him. And I was like, let me go eat this macaroni and cheese or whatever they got real quick. And I was like, that's it. So we sat at the table, but he had this anointing around him that people just kept drawn to him. And this waitress just kept coming on to him, but I wasn't really feeling him. So I was like, okay, but it was still rude and disrespectful. But people, he was drawing it, whether it was his anointing, his hair, his personality, his smile, but people were just like drawn to him. So then after we left, I called the girl and I said, nope, he ain't my speed. He ain't the one, right? And she was like, I'm sorry. And I was like, no. So then that's when I ghosted him for three days. And then he called me out. He was like, I know. He was like, well, what is it? And this was the moment that it changed. I didn't know that he fasted at this point. I didn't know he fasted for me for 3 days. I didn't know he was praying all of that time that I didn't call. So he finally calls me and he says, so what's up? Like we was talking all of these days, all of this time. And then all of a sudden I don't even hear from you. And I'm trying to be nice. And I was like, I was busy, blah, 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 blah. And because I didn't want to hurt his feelings. And then he said to me, because you were like, no, you can tell me, like, what is it? And when I told him, I was like, you're just not really my type, not really my, my speed, and blah, 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 blah. And I'm going on with, you just not really. And then he said to me, he was like, that's a little shallow. He said to me, he was like, I'm the same person that you've been talking to for 6 hours, 7 hours, 8 hours. He was like, that's a little shallow. But what made it turn, and we know it's God because all of a sudden it clicked. But what made me see him differently is you accepted it. Like if you told somebody, you ain't my type, you ain't my speed. And I mean, I ain't saying it with all that moxie, but I was just saying it. But you know how some people would be like, well, forget her. Well, you ain't mine, or bounce back. He accepted it. He digested. You were still very nice You know what I mean? You were still very.
That's because I knew she was mine. Period. Regardless what it looked like.
And he couldn't act a fool anyway. He can't let you see that you got under his skin. He couldn't do that.
Right.
But then it just was like, you know what? I can tell this person the absolute truth on how I really feel, and he wasn't swayed either way. And then we talked some more. Then I think I had you. I was like, well, he's nice. And then we were talking, so I had him on my podcast. And the way we were just vibing on the podcast, and then we were talking, and then something just happened. It was God that totally didn't allow me to see none of that. It didn't allow me to see it. So I would say that I'm glad you asked that question, because I never even thought about it. So you didn't ask the question.
That was amazing. That was like you said, it was nothing but God. You know what I'm saying? It wasn't. It was nothing but God to go through all of that. And Daryl will still stay 10 toes down, and the light bulb to click for you, Kendall. Like there was nothing but God. You know what I'm saying? Nothing but God. But we are at 9:20, so we do appreciate you guys taking hump day and spending hump day with us. We do really, really, really appreciate it. And again, there's a lot of gems, a lot of fools. So I hope we've helped. You guys have really helped us, and we hope that when somebody watches this back, we give them, we both, all four of us, give somebody some food as well that they really can take and really marinate and use, you know what I mean? Because this is a purpose. This is why she came up with this platform, to give the food, because we get just as much food as we give to anybody else. And we really do appreciate it. Thank you so much. And like we always say, please keep on negative folks out of your circle. You pick up the habits of 5 people closer to you. So let's really make our circle positive and right, and have some value in our circle. All right?
Absolutely.
All right. So we want y'all to hold on for a second. Love and Business on Lock podcast for Dr. Cassandra Vaughn and the franchise Jay Claxton. Can you smile and do something, please? That was so phony. All right. No, we gone. We gone. We see y'all.
Bye, y'all. Work on yourself first before you try to fix the other person. Make sure you fix you first.